Rural people here, particularly Indian in Guatemala, they're concerned with today. I mean, experiencing today, enjoying today, and doing as much as you can for achievement today. And they're sure not concerned about what happened yesterday, and also they're not sure worried about what's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, they're concerned about today, and that things in the past are in the past, although very painful. And they want to go ahead and rebuild and do the best that they can. I think that they have a tremendous, particularly India, has tremendous ability to respond again. And so I think that's being reflected in the willingness now to go ahead.
When Dr. Carol Behrhorst first came to Guatemala more than 25 years ago, Chimaltenango was a small town with essentially no modern health care available to the majority of the population. While Doc's ideas and the program grew over the years, Chimaltenango also grew into a bustling city with many small clinics and private voluntary organizations whose numbers had grown after the earthquake in 1976. At the time of his death in 1990, Doc was in the process of collaborating on a plan to restructure the program to reflect both the changes in Chimaltenango and the fact that many of the problems that had challenged him when he began still existed, especially in the more rural areas. The discrepancies between rich and poor, between those with land and those without, remained. The majority of the population of Kaqchikel Indians were poor, with a low life expectancy and one of the highest infant mortality rates in the world.
Curing diseases wasn't really meeting the total challenge, because if health is a sense of well-being affecting their whole being, and you had to think about many other things that affected their life, like nutrition and food and sanitation, making more resources available, improving their agriculture. And that whole concept of health, which I learned from them, actually, was partly responsible for the evolution of our community health program.
After Doc's death, his supporters banded together, and after much work, in February 1992, a new master plan was put into effect. It had been devised with much input from current and former staff and advisors from the Behrhorst Development Foundation boards of directors, both Guatemalan and North American. Just as Doc had emphasized health and development over curative medicine, the centerpiece of the master plan has been the choosing of 5 small aldeas, or villages, in the Department of Chimaltenango, where the work would begin. The idea was to start small in communities with a clear need. The chosen aldeas should be remote, poor, and essentially without services. The staff of PRODRI, the Program for Rural Development, began the search.
I'm Mario Sincal. I've been working at the foundation since February 17th of this year. We're beginning the search for the 5 partner communities with which the foundation will work in the coming year.
para poder tener las 5 comunidades socias que la Fundación pretende para este año. Nos dio un resultado de que están atendiendo.
We have results from our search at the institutional level, the governmental level, and from non-governmental sources.
De otras organizaciones no gubernamentales. Tuvimos la cantidad
We found
de
that 202 communities have been given some attention, and the rest haven't been attended to by any
el
organization.
restante que no son atendidas por ninguna organización, y el total de comunidades
In all, there were 357 communities in the department.
357 comunidades. Y también cabe mencionar
I also
el
wanted to
número de
mention
población
that
indígena de
73% of the population of
Chimaltenango, que es el
Chimaltenango is indigenous,
73%
and
en todo el
27% is
departamento,
Latino.
y un 27% que es de población ladina.
Mi nombre es Isaías
My
Simón.
name is Isaías
También soy
Simon,
coordinador
and
de
I'm
un
also
programa de la
coordinator of a
Fundación
program of the Behrhorst
Al igual que el
Foundation.
compañero,
I've been working here for
tenemos
4
4 meses
months,
estar trabajando
and it's a
para la
privilege to be
Fundación.
part of the development work of the
y
foundation.
para mí es un gran gusto darles a conocer parte de los trabajos que estamos realizando en el programa de desarrollo de la Fundación. Otra de las principales etapas que se
One of the
desarrolló
recent
dentro de la
stages of
Fundación
development in the foundation
es
was
que
the
a nivel
pre-selection of
de
29
todo el
communities.
departamento de Chimaltenango se preseleccionaron 29 comunidades. De estas 29 comunidades preseleccionadas, hicimos un nuevo
We've made a study
estudio
of these 29 communities
y en la
and have
cual
selected 5 communities in which
tuvimos
the
la
Behrhorst
oportunidad de
Foundation will carry out
seleccionar
all of the
5
activities of
comunidades
development.
en la cual la Fundación Carol Behrhorst pretende realizar todas sus actividades de desarrollo. Los municipios seleccionados fueron los siguientes. El
In the
municipio
town
de
of
Tecpan,
Tecpan, we
Guatemala,
selected 2 villages,
el cual
Tesoro
seleccionamos dos
and Pacacay.
aldeas, siendo la aldea de El Tesoro y la aldea de Pacacay. Del municipio de San Martín, Jirotepeque,
In the town of San Martin,
preseleccionamos
Jilotepeque,
3
we've
comunidades,
selected 3 communities,
que son la
Chipastor,
aldea
Cojumachat,
Chipastor,
and the village of
la
El
aldea
Aguacate.
Cojumachat y la aldea El Aguacate. Estas 5 comunidades
These 5
servirán
villages will be where in the coming
para
days we will
que en
begin
los
work
próximos
directly with
días
the people.
nosotros estaremos realizando ya actividades directamente con esta gente. Tal vez cabe mencionar
Perhaps I
una cosa
should
muy
mention something
importante.
important. How did we select these 5
Plantearles ciertos
communities?
aspectos de estas comunidades seleccionadas. ¿Por qué las seleccionamos? Seleccionamos la aldea del Tesoro,
We chose El
que
Tesoro,
queda
which is near
a
the river
orillas del
Monte
río Motagua,
Yagua. That is
el
almost on the
cual
border with
esta
Quiché.
comunidad colinda con lo que es directamente el área de Quiché. Esta comunidad
This is really
es
one of
una
the most
comunidad
neglected
que
areas in
realmente es una
Tecpan.
de las más abandonadas del municipio de Tecpan, Guatemala. En primer lugar,
In the first place,
es
it's
una
very
comunidad
remote,
que está bastante
32
retirada del
kilometers from the
municipio.
town.
Está aproximadamente a 32 kilómetros del municipio. Sus
There are
habitantes se
350
aproximan a una
inhabitants,
cantidad de
and the few services
350
available are not in good shape.
habitantes. Cuenta con algunos servicios, pero realmente no son servicios que puedan decir de que es una comunidad que está en buenas condiciones.
What we're emphasizing now from the very beginning is that one of the first things the promoters should do is community diagnosis. I mean, if it's a smaller community, they take a sample. I mean, the sample depends on the size of the community. What it is to find out what people are thinking, what are their attitudes, what do they think their needs are, why do they get sick, what do they want, etc.
En estas 5 comunidades lo que hemos pensado a través
In
del
these
programa de
5
desarrollo de la
communities, we have an
Fundación
opportunity to meet with the
es que
principal
ahorita
leaders.
tenemos la oportunidad de planificar, tener reuniones con los líderes, principalmente, para luego, después de haber tenido reuniones con ellos,
Out of these meetings, we'll be
tratar de
looking for some of them to be
buscar
monitors,
ciertos
who can be very helpful in
el
making
cual
the
nos
in-depth
servirá
evaluation
de
of the
mucha
communities.
ayuda para hacer una investigación más profunda de cada una de estas comunidades. Por ejemplo, se estarán haciendo
For example,
visitas
we'll be conducting house
domiciliarias,
visits with the support of
pero
these
con el
people who are
apoyo
totally
de
part of the
dichas
community.
personas que serán totalmente de la comunidad. O sea, ellos serán parte fundamental para
They will be a
el logro de
fundamental
una
aspect
mejor
of gathering
información
information at the family
a nivel
level.
familiar de la comunidad en total. A que después nosotros de que nosotros tengamos las reuniones con los
After we
líderes de
have
las
these meetings with the
comunidades,
leaders, especially the
principalmente
monitors.
con estas personas que van a constituirse como monitores, pues nosotros les estaremos dando una capacitación.
We'll offer the monitors training,
a los
giving them
monitores
enough knowledge so that they themselves, who live in the community and probably have more of the trust of the community, will have more information.
Para que ellos que viven dentro de la comunidad pues conocen un poco más y posiblemente puedan tener más confianza con cada una de las familias de las
Then they'll be in charge of doing the interviews at the family level.
encargados de hacer las entrevistas a nivel familiar.
The philosophy of the Behrhorst Foundation is to go to the person, help him to get out of his economic crisis, not just one family, but to help every family to succeed. This is the philosophy, and what we want to do here. But change will only come if the whole community participates.
The community health worker gets his power from the people. So it's very important that the community health worker is selected by the community and continues to identify with the community, because that way they can be somewhat supervised and their work can be better coordinated, because the community is responsible for them.
Quizás estos monitores serán ya candidatos para que se
Maybe these
conviertan
monitors will be
en
candidates to become
promotores
promotores,
de bienestar total.
promoters of
Esa es
well-being.
nuestra misión.
It is our mission that the people we support in the preliminary survey can become perhaps candidates for working in the
Serán
community
también
as
quizás
promotores.
candidatos para que se constituyan ya dentro de la comunidad como promotores.
Although Prodri is the centerpiece of the master plan, other parts of the foundation continue to offer valuable services, all integrated into the concept of promoting health and development.
Hay demasiados niños que tenemos de misma clase. Que necesitamos.
A child nutrition center is being started, where severely malnourished children will be treated and their families will be educated about nutrition and assisted in improving their lives to prevent such problems in the future. Several water projects, financed with the help of the International Development Bank, are nearing completion. And the hospital and clinic continue to service the people of Chimaltenango, also providing backup and training for the new promoters.
El cólera es una enfermedad que está atacando bastante a todas las personas. Entonces yo quisiera que alguien pasara.
Classes in nutrition and the prevention of diseases like cholera are offered in both Spanish and Kaqchikel for patients waiting to be seen in the clinic.
Sea fruta o sea verdura, sea riscoya o zanahoria. Con una quinquita ensaladas, y ensaladas peligroso, va, verish mani chochojita. Entonces katznel nchak en chabón.
The task of moving on, of picking up the banner that Doc carried for so long, has not been easy, but it has been done with vigor and pride. Carlos Kaqchikel, one of the original health promoters and now chairman of the Guatemalan Board of Directors, has spoken of the need to continue and the methods for doing so.
He visto pues que solo un promotor no es suficiente. El promotor pues tiene que ser el multiplicador de promotores.
I have seen that just one promoter is not enough. The promoter must be a multiplier of promoters, making more promoters. It's not enough that I live by myself in my village, my town. This is not enough, it's not certain. The promoter must create more promoters in the villages, in the town, to work together on the problems. I like to say we need to be like the ants or the bees. The ants join together to work. Why don't we learn from their example?
Se junta para trabajar. ¿Por qué no tomar ese ejemplo?
Bees do the same thing. Each one has a task. Only man with his selfishness doesn't accomplish anything.
Con su egoísmo no puede hacer nada. Entonces nosotros tenemos que despojar
So
de
we
eso
have to get rid of
para
this in order
imitar
to be more like these
a
bees,
estos-
these ants, so we can
a
live
estas
and work
abejas,
together,
a estas
and as
hormigas,
one,
para que
help each other.
nosotros podemos trabajar y vivir en conjunto y ayudarnos mutuamente.
Models of development have evolved over the last 25 years, and the growth of the Behrhorst Development Foundation has paralleled that evolution. No longer centered on the dispensing of curative medicine alone, nor the building of water projects or infrastructures imposed from the outside, the foundation is now focusing on participatory development, empowering people to use their own resources and make their own choices. This can be summarized by a phrase that Doc used often: go to the people. Often when a patient would ask Doc, "How soon will I get better?" or a promoter would say, "How do we change things?" Doc would say, "Poco a poco, little by little. Paso a paso, step by step. Things will change, things will heal." Paso a paso, the new staff of the Behrhorst Development Foundation is moving toward the future.
Yo he dicho siempre también, si yo soluciono el problema de mi casa, si no miro
I have
pues,
always
los
said
problemas
that
del
if I
vecino,
only solve
no
the
hemos
problems of my
avanzado
own
nada.
home and never look to the
Entonces, tenemos
problems
que
of
ver,
my
pues,
neighbor,
todo alrededor
then we
para
haven't
poder, pues,
advanced at all. Therefore, we
poder
have to
lograr
look all
hacer
around us,
algo, pues,
at
para
all of our
nuestros
environment,
hijos,
to
para-
be able to do something
para
for our
Guatemala.
children,
O si se
for
puede,
Guatemala.
este mensaje,
And
este
if we
pequeño
can,
mensaje se puede dar, pues, para el
then
mundo,
these
pues,
messages,
¿cómo pudiéramos
these
hacer?
little messages, can be passed along so that the world will know what to do.